Crotchety old man next door harasses me to my breaking point, so I got revenge. When I moved into my current neighborhood, I was excited to start fresh. It's a quiet area, big trees, decent sidewalks, and mostly friendly people. But there's always that one neighbor. Mine happened to be an elderly man who had lived on the block for decades, and who had, according to more than one longtime resident, successfully driven multiple families off the street with his complaints and harassment. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt at first. He was old, maybe lonely, maybe bored, but that good faith evaporated fast. Within my first few months, he reported me for things like my grass being too tall. Literally about an inch over some made-up standard. He left notes in my mailbox criticizing my choice of porch lights. He once called animal control because my dogs were barking inside the house with the windows closed. And each time I tried to handle it with grace. I waved politely when I saw him. I trimmed the grass. I double-checked leash rules. But it was never enough. Then came the final straw. One morning, I noticed a new security camera mounted on the edge of his garage. It was clearly aimed directly into my backyard, not just facing my house, zoomed in. Later that same week, as I walked my dogs along the sidewalk, he stepped outside and, completely unprovoked, yelled that if my dogs ever set foot near his lawn, he'd shoot them. That was it. I was done. I had tried to be neighborly, patient, reasonable, but all that got me was targeted surveillance and threats against my dogs. So I decided if he wanted to play games, I'd play harder. First came the mail. I spent an entire weekend signing him up for every obnoxious, creepy, or downright offensive mailing list I could find. The Satanic Temple? Check. Free porn magazines? Done. Wild conspiracy newsletters and obscure product catalogs? Absolutely. I even tracked down mailers from rival churches and spiritual cults just for fun. Anything that might weird out an ultra-conservative religious old man. Not long after, I saw the first wave arrive. Thick stacks of weird and wildly inappropriate content being delivered by a clearly confused mail carrier. He'd pick up each bundle like it might bite. I smiled, sipping my coffee. Then came my personal favorite. I mailed him a 5-pound box of elephant poop. Yes, that's a real thing you can buy online. It came sealed in a box with his name neatly written across the front. It was the middle of July, and I watched from behind my screen door as the delivery driver practically dropped it on his porch and speed walked away. His reaction was everything. I didn't hear what he said, but judging from the way he recoiled, it was probably unprintable. Still, I wasn't finished. I got artsy. I went to the hardware store and bought a large, corrugated metal sheet, some wooden letters, spray paint, and industrial-strength glue. Late at night in my garage, I blasted Swedish death metal and assembled a glorious sign that read, FK off, with creative lettering to bypass any obscenity laws. I mounted it facing his camera, right in the line of sight. He had set up a front-row seat to his own personal insult. But the real kicker? I gave him a show. One night around 1 a.m., under the full moon, I walked into my backyard wearing nothing but my underwear. I stood motionless, arms crossed, facing his camera. I didn't say a word. I just stared. For 15 full minutes, like a silent statue of chaotic energy. The next morning, the camera was gone. I never got an apology, never got a knock on the door or a letter. But after that night, he never called the police on me again. He never yelled, never left another passive-aggressive note, never muttered anything when I walked by. Now, he mostly avoids eye contact. It might have been petty, but after years of passive-aggressive nonsense and veiled threats, it felt justified.